Yeah, the number of participants are increasing. Thank you for being patient for this time. Usually we try to start on time. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but thank you for joining the session. Today we have organized a webinar. It's a free webinar for an hour session, and it's about the future of workplace, integrating AI in HR practices. And we have our specialized trainer, Mr. Mako, with us today. I'm not going to give an introduction. I'll give him the floor to give the introduction. So as we start off, and then we'll take a short strategic break in the middle, and then we'll conclude the session in an hour. We'll try our best to finish it within an hour, and we'll have the question answer session as well at the end. So, Mr. Marco, sir, you can actually start with your webinar, give an introduction about you, and then we can pull off this webinar. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone in the webinar. I think we are all sitting in the same time zone. Just a quick overview. My name is Mako. I'm a Botswana native. I'm a managing director of a company called Technology and Modernization Consulting. I think if you look into my profile, you will note that I have considerable experience in digital transformation and driving service transformation. I bring a considerable experience in digital transformation, program management, and agile transformation. And as you know, today the world it's AI. So you would realize that there's a bit of experience that I bring to the party as well. And I believe we are going to have a good time in just experiencing the beauty of what AI will lead us to, and what we need to be mindful of as we do. We transverse the AI landscape. I believe I'm audible.
Yes, very clear, sir.
Yes, it seems to go.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I think just a quick view. We have done the first part of just introducing what who we are. I think they've done justice to this. I've explained who I am, and then we'll look into the state of HR today. Because remember, the purpose of this session is really to bring awareness and maybe just to amass knowledge around what are the key aspects that can really take you as an HR practitioner to the next level. Hence why we need to look at the closer look of what HR is. And then, of course, what really AI is. I think in simple terms, a number of you and may have been to school and we have learned AI, in the past, but in the context of HR, what does it translate to be, so that as you walk away, then there's the bare minimum that you can explain to a person. We're going to look at the AI and HR framework. There are 4 key variables there that we'll quickly discuss. And then, of course, we'll briefly talk about the case studies, what we see in other jurisdictions. There are a set of countries there and corporates that we'll pick. And then the last part of it all, it's the critical success factors. This is a reform, and what is it that we really need? Which lever should we hold on so that we can be successful? And then the last bit is just to give you the red carpet so that you can express yourself in the manner that you want to. So basically, that's the quick of it. That's how we'll run the session. That being said, I think you would all agree with me that HR is moving from an administrative function to a strategic value. In the past, you would all know that HR was just responsible for making sure that they write letters for people to come for interviews. They will be the ones that when you ask, when you are lost in the building, they will refer you to HR to give you direction. But as the world is evolving, change is coming. we now see that HR is playing a very strong role, which requires it to be well positioned and well armed with the contemporary tools that can make it a really strategic a value in an organization. So I think that's a shift that we need to be thinking that it's gone are the days that it is reduced to being a small enabler in an organization, but this is where value is now being seen. You would agree with me that digital transformation, it's shaping the landscape, and we are moving into paperless government. Today, you deal with banks, everything is paperless. So you can see that the world has now moved from paper-oriented to digital workflows. And this is where now we see that HR has moved quite significantly in this area. You would see that now it's no longer the things that we used to do. Now we are dealing with digital data flows. The interesting thing is, if you look into statistics now, you realize that there's a heavy presence in investment across all the big companies. We talk about Microsoft, we talk about Oracle, we talk about SAP. There's a heavy presence of investment in research and development around the HR workspace, so that now they make it easy for HR practitioners to do. You buy ready systems that affords HR to just work with closing eyes. So basically, you could see that when you now see even the big players focusing on enabling HR through this research and development money that is being put, you would be shocked by the amazing level of expenditure that goes into this. We are told that EU spends about 1.2 billion annually in ethical HR R&D. So you can see that the pool of those countries there sitting at the top at the EU they clearly show that there's a lot of investment that is going into it. Of course, America is doing very well. It's reaching very well the high levels now of investment into Asia, in AI and HR. And we are told that in between now and 2030, we are going to see the investment growing close to 6.3 billion. As and when, this is just a clear indication that the landscape is changing. And you could see that America takes about 40% of the share of that 6.3 billion that I'm actually talking about. And then followed by China is coming at around 28% of share into this cake that I relating on. And then, of course, the fastest growing, we see that in the Middle East, it's also showing a potential growth around R&D, which is quite a positive thing, because obviously it also trickles down to where we are in Africa. One of the key things that HR was known of, as I said, it used to be an enabler. And you would realize that the responsibility of an HR person was to facilitate interviews, conduct them, of course, with people being there who are from core departments sitting together with them. And with the advent of technology today, you see that HR is now responsible for building capabilities that sustain the organizational goals. So you could see that it is no longer that is just this arm of business that is just supporting. This is why you can see I've put it in hopes that in quotes that to say that in open brackets to say that our hope is in you. HR, for any transformation to take place, you realize that it is now expected of HR to be the one that drives this. We used to think in the past that issues of those of you who know Balanced Scorecard, issues of learning and growth, their culture issues, skills development, used to be where HR plays. But now you could see that it has moved up to process level as well, to be able to shape where the organizations are going. You could critically see that HR is taking a huge leap into what it has been known of, and largely because of the contemporary tools that we have. And of course, from cost center to a value driver. I think those of you who understand the olden age accounting, where you say something is just a cost center. Today, HR, it plays in its own league of being a value driver in an organization. Because for you to recruit talent that supports the bottom line, HR is at the helm of it. So you could see that they do provide a lot of value in shaping how the organization move forward. And then, of course, there's this aspect where we used to call them to be the guys from a support function, but now they play a very big integral role in any organization. If you can think about it, as I'm saying, that the new skill sets that are coming, they are largely influenced by HR understanding the new technologies that we are talking about today, machine learning and generative IT. These are the skill sets that they are the tools that guides HR to indeed lead in resource mobilization and building capabilities for the organization as it moves forward. So quite a lot. I think this is just an attempt to paint a picture of what HR is as we get to think about the enabling aspect in artificial intelligence. At least we are cognizant of how HR is actually moving, because I've been looking at the demographics that came our way. Quite a number of students, quite some are at a junior level. So this is just to give a synopsis that HR remains an integral part of any organization. Therefore, as best as we can, we need to jealously make sure that we put some level of investment to enable HR to catapult its responsibility and really support any organization that it may find itself in the chart of transformation. I think in simple terms, maybe I can pause just to make it interactive and ask from the audience, what is your understanding of AI? I can see whose hand is up. I think my colleagues will be the one who helps me to appreciate this. What is your understanding of AI? Because I've been talking for the first 5 minutes alone, so I need to share responsibility. Anyone? Okay. Unless someone's hand is up, you can shoot. We are listening.
Okay, thank you. I was just having a challenge of unmuting myself. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, colleagues from all over. To me, AR, artificial intelligence, really means, in a layman's language, it's machines doing what humans can do. Thinking, collecting data and sorting it out with the speed at which it is organized, and then being able to give responses depending on the prompt that you are giving it. Thank you.
There's no wrong answer. All the answers are correct. So feel free to say yours. It's a very good explanation, Mr. Rwani. That's a very good one. It's basically what people can do, machines doing it. Only outside empathy, because empathy is the only thing that I believe if we look at the skill sets and the most critical skills that will support the economy around 2030, one of the things that becomes more pronounced is the issue of the soft skills that we all have. So I think as we chase technology, I'm just whispering to you that continue building your soft skills, empathy, that intuitive listening, those remains very, very profound as machines take more load and making it efficient as he was saying it. Is there another view? I hope someone will help me with moderation there from our team. There are 3 people who have raised their hands. I think whoever first came they can shoot. Wyatt, just say it from your view.
Hello, I just want to add to what the previous speaker said, and that is it automatics the repeating work easier by automating it. Thank you.
It's a great one from Prof
Am I
as well.
audible?
You were. I think you can come again if you want to send the message stronger.
What I intended to say is that the repetitive tasks are automated and it carries out the work very faster. That's it. Thank you.
That's a great one. What is becoming more pronounced as they are saying it, there's the aspect of efficiency and speed that comes with what they're saying, that it leads to quicker turnaround times as we could be doing it. The computer will give you much more faster time. There's a story in our country here in Botswana. I'm in Botswana. When computers were introduced for the first time, so this is it's a commercial break. It should not be part of what I'm saying. So when computers came here for the first time, I understand that there were riots at the University of Botswana. People fighting, professors saying that they don't want computers anywhere closer to them because they are coming to take jobs for their siblings who are coming after them. So you could see that when change comes, people are always, very apprehensive. But now I think we are more learned now to appreciate the fact that AI, it's only here to make life easy. It's going to give us efficiency, right? As opposed to us, people thinking that AI will replace all people's jobs. If you look at it closely, there's a very interesting pattern that is emerging. We've got new roles now that are coming. We've got AI algorithm developers. We've got AI, so and so. We've got a whole set of professions are even now emerging out of AI, which really says that AI it's here to support us in all that we are doing. So HR people can stay comfortable because if we look closer into what AI is basically a key enabler that is going to help an organization implement. So it's the machine learning, automation, and data-driven intelligence to improve how organization manage people. So this is the definition in the context of HR. So we have picked it in this manner because this purely supporting, driving the organizational mandate of people-centric approach. That's basically what we are saying is it's people-oriented initiatives. So the other definition that keeps coming, basically, as I'm saying, it is a capacity that strengthens the HR function, making speed and accuracy. Today, we know that there's a lot of expectation. Dealing with contemporary customers makes a problem. So instead of going to queue in line, asking to get a pay slip, trying to find your payroll deductions and all that, we are saying AI can help just generate those things for you at a lightning speed. So this is why now I would say this is something that we all ought to embrace because it really leads us to happiness. I think the more of this aspect as you see them coming, they really generate us to be happy, which is important to have healthy organizations that are coming from this. So basically, that's the long and short definition of AI. There's someone talking? Yeah, so I think basically that's it. It's machine learning. It can be generative AI, the one that really helps us to to make wise, intelligent decisions. I shouldn't say wise because wise is the human mind aspect. Intelligent decisions in improving organizations to manage people. That's basically what comes out of our definition as AI. So I think I don't know whether we should pause here or we should continue. Any guidance from you all?
Sure, sir. If you feel like taking a break, we can take the strategic break now and then resume after a couple of minutes, if it's okay with everyone. Great. One more thing, sir. I think your camera went off. Can you please look into that part as well? Yeah, now it's okay. Perfect.
I told you this Canada. Maybe when I was closing the laptop, it closed itself.
All right, no
sorry
problem.
about that. Sorry about that. I'll
so yeah, I'll just share my screen now. Yeah, I'll share my screen for some information that I need to disseminate, and we'll then resume in a couple of minutes.
So I'll stop sharing, right?
Yes. I hope my screen is visible. So thank you for having this session, very interactive. I'm myself is very interested to know more about what's happening with AI and how Mr. Mako is explaining. It's beautiful. So just want to give a quick introduction about World Academy in the middle. So we are a UK-based organization, and we have been working in different fields. And registered under the UK government. We do have the ISO certification. I'm not going to go into the details because it's going to take time. So just an overview of World Academy. We are currently present in 65 countries, offering about 200 plus programs and trained over 30,000 professionals. We have a pool of 132 instructors from over 14 countries, and we have 30% of our alumni from C-suits. And we have a completion rate of 95%. Just to give you a glimpse of what we are, we actually give an acceptable global credentials. We make the fees affordable. We have flexible plan. We offer about 150 certified programs. Then we have 30 master's level programs, 40 diploma level programs. We have a very user-friendly learning management system to ease the study online. And we also give credential badges through credly.com. This is our global affiliation. Well, we are an accredited institute by the NQual. It is an off-qual regulated awarding body in UK, and also an approved center by Cambridge Academy of Professionals UK, Profqual UK, and Board of HR Certification UK. We are a very proud provider of HRCI, SHRM, and ATD. And a couple of our programs are academically aligned with SHRM and currently partnering with Institute of KPI Specialist and Academy of Business English and Communication. We are also accredited institute by NPMA UK. So our mission for the 2030 is to become the #1 professional certification institution, to have presence over 100 countries. That is our mission. And we started off recently doing programs and graduation ceremonies in 3 different countries in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. This is some overviews. This was followed by some summits that we have organized in Kenya as well. There was the Global Professional Summit. We had the same format followed in Uganda as well, with the graduation ceremony and a People Summit. Similarly, we had the same thing in Tanzania with the graduation ceremony and followed up by the Global Professional Summit. So we are doing our physical presence in different countries. And just to give you a glimpse of what sessions we are having in the coming month, in this month, is we have the Certified HR Business Partner Program, which starts on the 21st of November. The Financial Risk Management, this is also a certified program which starts on 23rd of November. We have a diploma offering on environment, health, and safety, which starts on 23rd of November, and a certified HR generalist program, which would initiate on the 28th of November. We have the certified project finance analyst on 29th, and the CRMES, which is result-based monitoring and evaluation specialist, on the 30th of November. And for the month of December, we have covered about, there's a professional certificate in Bangladesh labor law for the people from Bangladesh, and for the certified corporate financial analyst, which is offered globally. It's going to start on the 14th of December. And we have an HR professional operation, HR operations, which is going to be on the 19th of December, and professional diploma in total quality management, which we're going to initiate on the 21st of December. So that is all from my part. I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'll give the platform back to Mr. Mako to continue his presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. I think there are some questions in the thread there, so you'll keep on responding.
Yes, I'll do.
Yeah. So I'm picking where I've left it. Let me rush. So that's the presentation. Then we can move faster, because I covered some components, right? So, yes. Yeah, we all there. So I think this is just a recap of where we were. I'm just saying that what is more pronounced, what we should give attention to, it's that artificial intelligence is something that is there, as we say, as you hear the word saying artificial. It's not the real thing. It's artificial intelligence, and it's premised on really supporting people discharge their responsibility. I like the word that speaks about efficiency, speed, and accuracy. Today, we know that there are a lot of issues around people complaining about nepotism, fraud, hiring, and all that. And as and when we move forward, big companies today, what they do, it's AI does quite a lot of the phases of recruitment. So it just does everything. It does profiling, and then ultimately it's just give you a short list of people where you need just to throw in empathy and all that. That's where it really comes in. I think now there are 4 key essentials that are important. I think we also, Joe, briefly talk to them when we complete as well, so that we cement the emphasis. One of the key things that we see in HR AI framework, it's the predictive people insights. This is one of the pillars that really supports AI. It supports HR. So we see there that it's used to make sure that it helps in terms of performance risks. Tied to this, you also see one of the case studies that IBM was actually losing quite a considerable number of their professionals. Therefore, there was an issue of performance and the plight risk of just people leaving the organization. And you'd realize that it became a particular thematic area of focus that helps people really to be focusing on. Where the predictive people insights, it talks about workshop gaps, the workforce gaps. As I said, if we adopt it, it's something that helps you to realize the shortfalls in organization. And what I like about it, it's HR, once it's equipped with this intelligence that is actually coming, it can actually be able to stop firefighting and be proactive in terms of how it facilitates realizing the goals of any organization that they may have adopted it. So we realize that predictive people insight, it's one of the key things that we see in HR AI today. So that it addresses the workforce gaps and be able to actually lead on the proactiveness and instead of firefighting. When you have a workforce that you cannot predict their moods, you cannot predict whatever that will come from them. So organizations that take people for resources, they really know that because of the human resources are critical aspects for the success of our strategies. They now pay closer attention. This is why now you even see HR, it now has a greater role than the past itself, because even when you have people, you need to be knowing how they are thinking so that you plan moving forward. So one of the things that we see, as I've just indicated in the past slide, of the intelligent HR automation, to ward off the issues of corruption, nepotism, and fraud hiring, you realize that HR plays a very pivotal role in making sure that it automates the CV screening process where you apply. The intelligence will be able to evaluate for you, take the best candidates by scoring, because remember, under these things, there are strongly worded algorithms that will be very objective, that knows the truth and holding the truth as it is without subjectivity. You remember when you are holding CVs and you see your cousin there, you tend to drop the ball, right? But now in the intelligent HR automation, we are seeing quite strides and shocking, cutting down workload up to 60%. Imagine of 10 functions, out of the 10 things that you are carrying, 6 of them they're being taken by AI. This is quite a very progressive position that one can really be talking about. It goes up to scheduling interviews, onboarding, and dealing with HR queries. Remember, they will come, my notch, I was not paid well. There's this, my allowance did not come. And all those things, as we said, the chatbots that employees can actually be able to interact, and reducing for HR to be dealing with culture issues, culture and mindset issues, so that then what is repetitive, as the professor was saying earlier, whatever that is repetitive then is given room to do. The other important aspect that comes out of this, it's skills and talent intelligence. As I said, there's nothing secret today. When you complete your strategy as an organization, clearly you know the competencies that you are really going to require that can help you to be able to attain the key result areas that you have set. In the past, we used to say that we will do skills inventory, skills assessment, and all those things. But this is now something that we see that the artificial intelligence realm has brought it simple. It does it for organization. You put the profiles there by individuals, then it identifies the gap in terms of where you really want to go and what you want to achieve. And then it guides the reskilling agenda. So this is the part of the rich AI in HR that we see today. And it's one of the very, very important aspects, the one that speaks about skills and talent intelligence, because this is where really you really, really want. The life of an organization is on its own people. So if people are not competent, if you can't be able to detect the gaps, then we are in for a problem. And as we have been talking, that if you take a simple process of just mapping this, doing the skills inventory, how long it takes, you go to this division, then you go to the other one, you consolidate this, then after consolidation, you go through the analysis process. Then after going through the analysis process, you can now look at the gaps as opposed to where you intend to go. That thing, when you do as an individual, when you do as a division, it takes a much longer time. But you see now the beauty that comes with AI, it makes this things very simple. And it even paints to you the reskilling agenda so that you may be able to know that I need to be focusing on this set of skills for us to be able to drive revenue, if our interest is revenue. Now, another imperative there, it's the ethical, secure, and responsible AI governance. It's important for us to be able to respect. Sometimes in other countries, there are some laws that speaks to AI and how it should actually be governed. We see that it is important for us to respect these aspects. In other countries, there are laws around privacy, data privacy, and such. So you could see that for us to be able to allow artificial intelligence to give us all that it's supposed to do, then you realize that there's this block of a theme that we need to actually be able to respect, and making sure that we're building capability and trust across the organization. As we are saying, there's no way you can be able to go anywhere without proper governance. And we're infusing it as one of the key essentials, that there should be sound governance in place that facilitate AI. I spoke earlier on about the new roles that are emerging. You could see that there's a structure that deals with AI. There will be new functions that deals with supporting AI. So you can see that those of you who are still in the university, this is time for you guys to be scratching your head and seeing where you can really be able to play, because this is something new that it requires us really to prepare for and embrace it as we move forward. And of course, this sums the aspect about the HR AI framework, those key variables that we see supporting AI into the workplace. Now, in terms of the case studies, I've picked about 3. I think the first one there, I picked an African country. We all know the story of Rwanda. Rwanda went through a lot as a country. And we can see now in a lot of things that Rwanda is taking a lead. In fact, when you look into the World Economic Forum research and results, you see that in the African region, Rwanda is leading in almost a number of things. In terms of public sector modernization, Rwanda is actually leading. So you see that because of this leadership responsibility that they carry, they have introduced the AI-based recruitment and testing integrated to the eRainbow Gov. It's is the government portal. It's actually integrated within their portal. AI, it aids recruitment aspect so that there's objectivity in recruitment. So it's integrated to the Rwanda portal. And this is what we see. There's transparent hiring, reduction of recruitment fraud, and any associated pain point that comes with the things that aspect of nepotism and corruption that I've actually highlighted earlier on, where people just get their relatives to some responsibilities that are not qualified for. So you'd see that Rwanda has taken lead, and there's a huge reduction in complaints. We can see now the diverse workforce that's coming out of Rwanda. They are really, really promising. So I think that's something to note. There's faster shortlisting and candidate selection. If I give you an example in Botswana, just for you to get this managerial positions at director level and above. You go for psychometric test, you come from psychometric test, you go through the security vetting process. Then after the security vetting, you wait this where letters are going to come from. Then from there, you're going to be given. So you would see that in the process, the best talent that you would have actually got would have be taken by those that have lean processes. So you could see that it aids even Rwanda in this case for them to be able to get candidates quicker. So which is a very, very positive thing. I think these are some of the things that we need to be thinking about. I did talk about IBM earlier one way. IBM was at some point struggling with high turnover among specialized staff. And they focused on the predictive HR, where they had to make sure that they developed what you call a Watson AI for HR. In this, they were able to predict employees who are likely to resign, identify talent flight risk earlier, and therefore it actually recommended the personalized retention actions. So which means you become very much safe and very much alive to the environment that you are dealing with, therefore enabling you to be able to see the impact. As we can see that there's a very good over 300 million in attrition costs that IBM actually had to save and of course the improved operations and the revenue aspect as well. So that's the case of IBM. Improved employee experience. This is very, very critical. If you are an HR person and you care less about employee experience, then it's a challenge. Hence why you can see that AI now plays in enabling the environment, says that as a person who focuses on the empathy side of dealing with relationships, then you can be able to improve employee experience so that then they know that love that taken care of and all that. So that's the case of IBM. So when you move further now, we could see that Singapore, for a number of years, Singapore has been leading in e-government and service transformation. They have been number one. It's only out of last year or so that we see Estonia now taking the lead. So you could see that they have automated the candidate shortlisting. So this is government. It's government leading the talk, and you could see, because the reason why I really picked government experiences for you to appreciate that even if you're coming from government, government is normally a bigger animal. If government can do it, why wouldn't a small company be able to do it? So you could see that in the process, what they do is the skills-based matching, where sometimes you can apply for a job because it's there, but they help in doing some of these things where they match skills. In Botswana, we have what you call Human Resource Development Council, is responsible for understanding the landscape in the market and the required skills, jobs. Therefore, it actually matches. It has this responsibility of matching skills with the vacancies that exist. And it's a very seamless process, but it's still at an infancy stage. This is why it's not one of the things that I put there, because the process is still heavily manual. So, but you could see that progressive countries, that's where they are. And then there's predictive analytics for workforce planning. Manpower planning is one of the sore things that you can think about if you are doing with HR, that it takes all the time. It's a never-ending process and very tedious. But the beautiful thing about it, it's life has become easy because you can be able to do predictive analytics for workforce planning. You just you paint the future of where you are headed, the workforce, and then it becomes very easy. Because as I said earlier on, there will be underlying algorithms that adds, that make ticks and adds ones and twos and subtract, and ultimately giving you what you actually want from this. So what came out of it? There's the faster hiring cycles, and of course, as a country, as an economy, they have to make sure that there's improved talent distribution across ministries. And you have answer for yourself. You could see that once it's like this, and clearly then everyone will be able to do the best that they can, because they have given the right job that matches their skills perfectly. So I think with that, I don't know if we need to talk again. Maybe just to pause here, reflect if there's any word of advice, any question, so that now we can tackle this one and then we'll be closing. I think we still have about 14 minutes. 14 minutes from now, it means if you can ask 4 questions to lead us to 10 to, and then from there, quickly run through the slides. Then we have some few more minutes to ask questions towards the end. Anything, or we can shoot. Towin?
Yes,
we
sir.
can advise if, can advise if I can.
Yeah, I think if anybody has to have some inputs, they can raise your hand, and then otherwise we're going to proceed. Yes,
Okay.
we have one, Mr. Kevin. Please unmute yourself and then speak. Mr. Kevin?
There are 3 others.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one then. Mr. Nimrod Moyo, please unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much, Mr. Mako. That's a very insightful presentation there. And building on the advantages mentioned, especially the potential for enhanced efficiency and perhaps even reduced unconscious bias when using AI in recruitment. It was also interesting as an African, I guess, to see the case study for Rwanda. They are positioning themselves as a tech hub, and it highlights how AI could revolutionize talent identification across the continent. However, I think from a cybersecurity perspective, I can't help but think about the flip side. When we are talking about AI, sifting through thousands of CVs and personal data points, how then do we address these significant privacy and data security challenges? And are there specific frameworks that can maybe cushion around data privacy? Thank you.
Response can also escalate.
Yeah, I think let me quickly take that one. Thank you very much, Mr. Moyo, for that. The advent of the East and the East cables, the ones that were connecting us to the rest of Europe, have created a lot for us in the past. Because remember, we used to connect it with one way to the big markets, but now suddenly we've got mainly, I would equate it to maybe 7 lanes that leads us to the Western world. But clearly, data privacy is one of the issues that has been addressed. Day-to-day, governments are now taking this thing up. There are cybersecurity laws that are being enacted. I think those becomes now the corner points that would really support the implementation and adoption of AI. So we could only hope and trust that the responsibility, as you are saying it, the responsibility of cybersecurity rests with every organization. I think as an entity, everyone is responsible for making sure that they have got controls within themselves that protects their data, the data sets. So basically, as I'm saying, data security, it's a very integral part. A lot of these new things that are coming, they are now coming to revolutionize the work environment. There's no way you can run an organization that doesn't have a data protection officer. There's no way you can have an office, an organization that runs without someone responsible for cybersecurity, because these are things that comes every day. So in essence, it's important for us to make sure that I think in the next slide, I'm just going to be touching on critical success factors, where maybe I may be able to touch on that aspect of data privacy, making sure that we do what is best and we don't contravene people's rights, because data protection, it's clear, it has clear repercussions, it has clear implications, and it pits everyone to take responsibility. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other one. Towen, you'll just guide.
I think I'll take one more question. I'm sorry, people, I have 5 hands raised. Let me take the question from Gift. I'll try to request to unmute. Yes, please.
Gift is not there. You may have to.
Sorry. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So my question is basically asking that, since you say AI has become very easy in terms of data analysis and predictive, so this will has less concern to people who are pursuing data science and the computer science. So what advice or ways will AI being maintained to avoid job loss in terms of field like this?
Thank you for the question.
Yeah. And let me just answer it. I think from here, you can just go and Google for yourself. You see that there are a lot of emerging new functions that are coming with the advent of AI. So the mentality that AI, it's taking people's jobs, it's not really informed by anything, other than just witch hunts and just wishful thinking to the negative. I remember there's a practical example that I'm giving. When I once worked for government of Botswana. I was head of advocacy and change management, and I had taken the responsibility to tour in the country. This is the time when EFT were introduced, right? People were used to making sure that they take money, that checks the member of the councillors in different constituencies. And when they introduced EFT, councillors were up in arms. They wanted their checks so that they can take them to the banks so that they can get their money. Little did they know that the new way of doing things will enable them more time to go and ask for more votes from voters. So basically what I'm saying is the thinking that AI will take people's jobs, it's not really informed by anything. At least there's no empirical evidence that can show that so many people will lose their jobs. But we can see even when we speak today, we're talking about empathy. Even as we give the definition of AI what it is, it's about efficiency. It's about what the professor was saying and the earlier speaker. It's about making sure that from what you do, you replicate it quickly. That's basically it. But empathy, human reasoning, emotions and feelings would never be part of artificial intelligence. You can go now to, I saw something earlier on about the jobs that AI will not even come closer to them. The nurses, all these people, all the key functions that where you have to deal with a person, wash someone's hand and all that. So those will remain there. So to those that are doing computer science, my advice is it is important for us where we are now to begin to think of a path. There is a growth path that you can actually think about. There are algorithm developers. There's quite an array of key functions and key jobs that are really emerging that we can really be riding on. So I think with that, I think let's move to the next slide so that I don't take your time. In anything that you do, there are always critical success factors, right? And AI, it's not an exception as well. So there are some key aspects that would come as enabling instruments to where we are going. I'm talking AI, and I've been talking about different phases of recruitment. So now, it is important for every organization to have clear business problem that they want to solve with AI. This is why you can see that in the case studies that I've highlighted, there was a focus area of what specific problem were they addressing. So once you have a clear business problem, then you can be able to work around it through the adoption of AI. Relevant, practical, solving your problems. Otherwise, then we are going to do what we call a solution that is actually looking for a problem. Without clarity, ABI becomes a solution that will just be looking for a problem. So from start go, you need to define your problem area. What is your problem statement that you want to address? Once you have eloquently explained it, then you can actually have some measurements to do it. The second important aspect, it's a strong executive sponsorship. All of you would agree with me that whatever comes in any village, the chief should embrace it, right? So that's how we do it. So this is to say that strong leadership is very, very important, because if leaders don't lead by example, then we cannot expect the change to take place. So this is why we are saying all initiatives, they fail when leadership is passive or disengaged. So as a rule of thumb, it's important to make sure that you socialize the future. Leadership embraces and is the one that owns where the organization wants to go with this business problem. Otherwise, we're just going to be creating problem. Another important aspect, I think Mr. Moyo spoke about cybersecurity. There's another important animal that needs attention. In English, we always say that garbage in, garbage out, right? So the importance of high quality data and data governance framework must exist somehow in an organization, because AI is about, as you are saying, It's about building on the data that exists in organizations. So data governance, data quality, it's very important. It's a key aspect that must be in place to enable where we really want to go. Otherwise, we would not really achieve much. We would say that it has failed. As you can see, the poor data is poor predictions. It created loss of trust in AI. So you would say this thing is not working. While in other countries, as you can see, it's working. So make sure that you've got very strong governance that facilitates the aspect of us moving forward. And then the other important aspect is, from the neuroscience, we are told that the mind is very comfortable and adaptive to the practice that it knows every day. So with the advent of AI coming in organization, it is important for us to take our organization through the cultural phase, because this is where now you need to make sure that you explain the how, you explain why the change. Otherwise, if you don't do that, resistance from employees can kill adoption, even if technology works and it has been proven. But when people are not involved and engaged, you would not really get anything out of it. I think with that, there's clearly some other associated aspects that I could not put there. Though infrastructure and all these things, those are some known problems that we need to make sure that we put in place. We've got a good infrastructure that supports where we are really going. And of course, a willing workforce that can be able to help us. But at the top of it, these are the key ones that I had actually sampled. Then the list can be longer, but I chose to pick this one because I felt they are very critical. We talk about a clear business case, you talk about strong leadership, you talk about the data quality and the change management. This is a cultural aspect so that people can actually be able to support where we are going. I think with that, it leads me to this very last slide where you can now ask questions.
Great. Yeah, you can actually ask your questions in the comment, then I'm going to read it out, and then Mr. Mako can respond. I think that's going to be more organized. Please go ahead, ask your questions. Okay, will we have the recording? Okay, I'm not going to, I'll reply to that later. That's a comment that came in about AI. Something is not accurate. It gives, okay, what ethical challenges arises when using AI in HR decision making? Great question.
Yeah, I think basically if you look into this very slide, we need to be cognizant the ethical aspect of AI, as you can see there, and secure and responsible AI governance. Once you have put some strong governance in place, there are specific policies that can be generated in organizations. I think as and when you develop these policies, they have some implications that they pick. I cannot, out of my mind, just say this is the implication, this is implication, but we contextualize this by our organization, what it means when you are not doing it right. So if we have that embedded in the policies, then the issue is addressed.
Great, thank you. So the next question comes in is, how do companies make sure AI is fair when hiring?
Yeah, I think it's a relative of the question that was asked. So
all right.
There are rules of engagements, obviously, and as I said, there are some policies. The policies will actually be able to direct whoever presides and having an AI function in an organization. They need to know the implication of not doing things right.
Okay.
And of course, remember the overarching aspect that I've also highlighted here. I say there are some laws in due restrictions. We talk about the data protection law. We talk about the digital transformation laws. There are laws about using data. Like right now, when you talk about data sovereignty aspect, you know what data sovereignty is. So under that realm, the instruments that guides those laws that are enacted in respective countries, then we don't shoot in the dark. We are guided by what has been pinned down.
So there's a question says, which HR task should not be fully automated in an organization and why?
Which
HR task should not be fully automated?
Well, we cannot make any determination for any organization. But what I would like to point out is there are those that are very clear. The cultural issues, empathy aspects, where it has to deal with emotions and feelings. That one, HR people will always be responsible for driving culture, values in an organization. You don't have AI to do those things. So HR will continue doing such functions.
Okay. Then I can take another one. What are the steps to be taken in the first few days of introducing AI in HR practices? It's a very broad question, I believe.
It says what are
the steps, yeah, to be taken in the first few days of introducing AI?
AI adoption. You know what? AI doesn't come as an emergency, right? It's something that fits within an organizational strategy. You know when you're going to start which initiatives. You know what is going to precede this. So the first days of us, as we said, the issue of change management. Change management is a very, very key variable in supporting where you are going. And I would think one of the key things that you need to start with answering the why and the why, the why and the how aspect. Remember, you are bringing something to the workforce, and they need now to be able to understand where the organization is going. Then you have a clear business case. Informed organizations and the ones that are progressive, everyone understands strategy. Therefore, it becomes very easy to know that we have an initiative that speaks to formulating AI policies, implementation of AI, and then making sure that you review. So it's not something that is done in isolation. It's part of what the organization does.
Right.
I don't know whether I've answered that.
Okay. So there's an interesting question. What KPIs can HR use to measure the success of AI integration?
That question, the way where it comes, it should fit at the very top there. Clear business case problem. Because when you say you want to do for a specific task, you should know that this is what you really want to achieve. There are variables that you really want to. Let's say you want to recruitment, then you'll see how your recruitment, the turnaround happens and all that. If it's to do with employee complaints, then there are metrics that are tied to that. So it's quite an array of KPIs, but they have to speak to the business problem. Because I think when you have done very good work in problem analysis, KPIs will be mentioned there as well. You would have your key KPIs contained there, so that as you move forward to the next stage of approval of what you are doing, then clearly leadership has to know what is actually managing. There could be a composite of variables there that you are measuring.
Great, thank you. There was query regarding what are the implication. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to another one. It says like our students using generative AI in carrying out their assignments. How institutions address these challenges? I don't know if it is related, but can you answer, sir?
Well, it's not related, but you know what? I think I don't know whether you guys read the Bible. The Bible says toward the last days, the knowledge shall increase. The knowledge shall increase. It does not only mean to teachers, even to students, they'll have more knowledge of solving their problems. Any institution that doesn't factor in the aspect of contemporary things that are here, we can't change the landscape. We can't change the landscape. It's just that we need to see how we integrate these variables into our curriculum and all that. So if you remember, even when we were at school, I remember I I studied in South Africa at some point. I was one of the guys who went to school when my age had been. So I had the responsibility to also manage the computer lab in the schools. Even when you are writing the exam, it's sitting in this computer. I could make sure that I map the drive of that very computer there and have answers here, right? So you could see that even from the past, but recognizing that these things are there and seeing how we deal with them, it's another way.
Great.
Hello?
Yes, yes. Thank you for the answer.
The last one, Shubhani,
yeah, I think I'm going to take the last one because there's a lot of questions coming in, and thank you for being so interactive.
Yes.
Just let me just pick one. Okay.
So this one, Shubhani, it also depends on what you had said to your candidates. Remember, a number of us who are in business, I do tenders, right? I can do a tender. They can tell me that we have cancelled this tender. It's not going through because they will just give you some mischievous reason. So in the context of HR as well, they can put some algorithm to say that those that have not been successful, because they cannot give you everything, remember. They can just give you bare minimum. That's it.
Great. So I'm going to take the last question. It says, which AI tools are very important for HR professional tasks? Do you have any suggestions for the HR tools based on AI?
It's a very complex one. It may seem simple, but as I said, there are key enabling things that you need that really helps you to move forward with adoption of AI. I cannot sing the basic tools. Obviously, we can, there's an answer. It says Gemini, yes, but it goes by institution and it goes by need, really. Once you are clear with your business cases, it will drill down to what are specific tools that can be able to enable. Because I want to move away from thinking that X will be an answer, while Y is actually supposed to be the answer. So it depends, with the need. And when you say tools more again, it can also be a very pragmatic question. It's broader. It may be broader than what you're immediately thinking.
So, sir, with that note, I think thank you very much for the responses. I believe the responses were well justified, and I would like to thank all the people who has attended today, bringing out their time to attend the session and being so interactive. I'd like to thank them. I would like to thank Mr. Mako for explaining so well about the integration of HR with AI. And hopefully we'll come up with some more interesting topics about webinars in the coming months. So with this note, I would like to thank everyone and conclude the session here. Again, I would like to thank Mr. Mako with the beautiful presentation. You have come up with the statistics and everything. I hope people take away something from today and give a thought to the use of and integrating the AI in HR practices. So thank you very much. With that note, I'm going to conclude here. Have a good day, everyone.